Well, Greenland, I don't know, it got released somehow. Denmark, like we protect large portions of the world. So the concept came up, and I said, certainly strategically it's interesting. Well, a lot of things could be done. I mean, essentially, it's a large real estate deal. A lot of things could be done.
Greenland is a wonderful place. We need it for international security. And I'm sure that Denmark will come along.
Greenland is today a part of the Kingdom of Denmark. It's a part of our territory, and it's not for sale.
We want to also be clear. We don't want to be Americans. We don't want to be a part of. We want to be independent in Greenland.
The number one killer of our young people. President Trump will stop it, just like he did before.
Well, I don't think it's about persuading the Danish government. Wouldn't that be interesting to have South Korea, our great ally, help us with icebreakers?
President Trump's economic. Carla Sands, and I'm running for you on farmers in the Netherlands and the election. I'm Carla Sands. I'm tired of Biden's weakness. That's why I do this mess with schemes to tax.
It is. This is my first time speaking with a Korean audience, to my recollection. Yes.
Thank you. I understand you are a key figure in President Trump's inner circle. President Trump has repeatedly emphasized that the U.S. will acquire Greenland.
You have Russian boats all over the place. You have China boats all over the place, warships, and they can't maintain it.
You are not going to use military or economic coercion.
No, I can't assure you on either of those two. But I can say this, we need them for economic security.
Well, whatever I say to you or your audience, I don't speak for President Trump or his administration. All of my opinions are my own. Well, before I go to Greenland, I just want to talk about the U.S. and South Korea for a moment. We love South Korea and we love the people of South Korea. Your country is a great trading partner of ours. I think you're the 7th largest trading partner with the United States. That's huge. And we want more trade with South Korea.
Why does he believe Greenland is so essential?
We want our country to be secure geostrategically as well. Greenland is part of North America. It's not part of Europe. It's part of our continent. And it's just off our northeast shore. And when I arrived as the U.S. ambassador, what I found was Chinese economic activity. They were trying to bring the Greenlanders into their Belt and Road Initiative. And I saw Russia's ships and subs were very active in the region. And so that whole expanse of seas is under Denmark's, it's under their area of responsibility. However, they have no capability of defending or even surveying that area. And I worked with the Trump administration and the interagency in the US to put a consulate in Greenland, to get a Coast Guard billet in Denmark for Arctic security, but that's not enough. Denmark has not the capability to defend Greenland, to secure it, or to develop it. Most of the buildings, airports, and ports in Greenland were built when the U.S. occupied Greenland, and then after, when we had a big military presence, until the end of the Cold War.
Greenland is today a part of the Kingdom of Denmark. It's a part of our territory. It's not for sale. The chairman, the leader of Greenland, has been very clear that they are not for sale.
As someone who understands Denmark well, how do you think President Trump can persuade the Danish government?
Well, I don't think it's about persuading the Danish government. About 3 weeks ago, the premier, he said, we want to go independent. Now, 57,000 people, you can imagine, on the world's largest island, do not have the capacity to be an independent functioning country. So I think that President Trump will find a way to bring Greenland into the U.S. fold. Denmark doesn't own Greenland. Mm-hmm. Now, could they try to block them from going independent? Well, the Greenlanders would have a lot to say about that. First of all, they'll have a referendum this spring if they hadn't seen President Trump win the election. I think that they wouldn't have said this from the podium that they want to go independent.
Some analysts argue that President Trump views the issue of acquiring territories too much like corporate mergers and acquisitions.
And we need to be able to do new things and reach out. And so the idea of seeing something like Greenland being unprotected, it's common sense that a Western ally would say, look, this is a problem. We need to find a solution together.
Russia is actively conducting military operations in the Arctic area. Can the United States tolerate Russia's dominance in the region?
Like you said, they're doing these exercises in the Arctic. They're very capable in the Arctic. They're capable on the seas. They've got about 50 icebreakers. Some of them have missiles on them. The U.S. has 2 icebreakers. And so understanding that, we need to get a better capacity in the region.
If the U.S. acquires Greenland, it will require a significant number of icebreakers.
We're going to order about 40 Coast Guard big icebreakers, big ones. And all of a sudden, Canada wants a piece of the deal. They say, why are we doing that? I mean, I like doing that if they're a state, but I don't like doing that if they're a nation.
During his first call with the South Korean president, President Trump mentioned the need for South Korea's shipbuilding expertise. Would U.S. icebreaker production also require South Korea's assistance?
Wouldn't that be interesting to have South Korea, our great ally, help us with icebreakers? Well, that's an interesting idea. I like the sound of it. Certainly, I hope that there will be progress in that area. Well, I'm troubled by it, I have to be honest, because Russia controls it and because China's using it. And Russia is very aggressive about if you have to go through with them. You cannot go without Russia's basically being with you, and you have to pay, to use it.
Some analysts predict that if the United States acquired Greenland, South Korea, located farther north, could become an even more critical logistics hub than Singapore, much like how the Straits of Malacca made Singapore a key port. Do you agree with this assessment?
I've never looked at that option, but if you'll send me something, I'd be delighted to take a look at it. It's a really intriguing idea because we need friendly ports around the world, and we need hubs for moving goods, and we need our trading partners to be strong. And that's a way to strengthen an ally. So thank you for the question.